Hey everybody, it's Kelly Cooper and welcome to another Facebook Live video. Today I want to talk about how little changes could add up to big differences. And I mean this just with personal growth, general emotional improvement as well, even if you're not trying to manifest something specific, but you probably are and that's okay. And for your energy work, LOA, conscious creation, deliberate creation, specific type things. Because once you start paying more attention to your overall energy and you start seeing the different ways it's affected, you start to see how a lot of little changes you can make a big difference in how you feel. And even if the change doesn't seem big, even if the change itself doesn't seem specifically linked to the specific thing you want to manifest, or you don't see how, well, how would this make me feel better in this way or that way, you see that it will if you make these changes. And again, these little changes can add up to big differences. So they're not to be dismissed or like, oh, who cares about that? Especially with law of attraction type people, right? With our energy work and all our positive emotion activation and all this, right? We tend to try to do it around very specific areas of our life and try to feel very positive about these things specifically, trying to raise our vibe, right? And that's helpful knowing what we know about energy. It's good to think about the things you want in a positive way. That's important. It's good to have more positive energy around money or relationships or this thing or whatever, right? Feel like it's possible that they'll manifest for you. But again, we tend to get very focused on specific energy activation, which again has its place, and we abandon the more helpful mode of general positive emotion activation, just feeling better generally overall. And this is because the mind doesn't understand energy, and it doesn't understand that how all these general positive feelings benefit you in all these more specific ways. It can't see the connection between how watching less TV will help you manifest more money or help you get a boyfriend and help change your energy in these specific ways, because again, it doesn't understand that at the root of everything you want are kind of these broader, more general feelings. And when you get these feelings going in your vibe more and they build up and they have real momentum behind them, you'll start to manifest stuff that mirrors this energy back to you, probably, and for no reason not to, the specific things you want to manifest, right? And again, the little changes can make a big difference. And again, your mind won't see the relation between the two, but they'll be very related on an energetic level, because all of these things change your energy in broader ways. But these broader energies are kind of what you're after with all the specifics anyway. So what little changes in your life do you think you could make day to day that would make you feel better? Again, don't dismiss it because it seems small. It could make a big difference. And when you make a lot of little changes, the energy activated, the energetic changes from all these little changes could add up to big shifts vibrationally. And they're not little, they're not insignificant in that sense. So, just a few examples. Maybe you watch a lot of reality television. A lot of those shows, let's be honest, the people in them are annoying. They're like kind of shitty human beings, right? I'm not judging them. I'm just saying, how they depict them and edit all that stuff, right? But it's watching them is kind of like, you just kind of love to hate them. They're annoying. And it's just the energy when you're watching that show, right? And you might find like you watch less of those shows and somehow you just feel better. How this happens, again, it doesn't make sense to the mind. It's like, well, how would that make a difference in how I feel? It's like, well, if you're just watching shows about people you love to hate and you like criticizing them to feel better about your own life, that's all kind of low energy, right? You work from home. Everyone talks about, oh, working from home, work in your pajamas all day. As someone that works from home, I do not recommend doing that. Sitting around in your fucking pajamas all day that you slept in all the night before and not getting dressed and not going anywhere, working from your bed in your pajamas, I wouldn't recommend it. If you feel good doing that, I'm not judging in and of itself, but you might feel better even though you don't have to go to an office. Get dressed. Put on some regular clothes for the day. Maybe you might feel better if you feel a little isolated or you're in the house all day. Go to the library for a few hours or a coffee shop where you can bring your computer and do some work for a few hours. But at the very least, get dressed. I wouldn't recommend working in your pajamas all day if you work from home or you've just started. I would recommend getting dressed like you would if you had to go to a normal job. Just little things like this, right? You make a little extra time you go for a walk every night after dinner. 15, 20 minutes, right? Because you start to see that, again, these little shifts, they make you feel better. They can make you feel better in very significant ways. For example, again, the working from home, if you just work from home all day and you sit around in your pajamas all day, that could feel a little depressing, right? You might feel a little more alive and in the world, at least if you're wearing normal clothes, right? Even if you're working from home. Um, so yeah, you got to think about that. This is a very individual thing. There's not one thing to do that's better than another. Like this change is not better than that change, or this change won't get you more results than this change. It's all a very individual thing. You have to pay attention to your own life and see, where can I make some tweaks here that might make me feel a little bit better. You might find cooking, maybe you don't cook a lot. You get a lot of takeout or whatever. You might find, like, at least cooking, you might still eat pretty healthy, but right, you don't cook for yourself. You might feel tempted to be like, you know what, it might be nice to cook a nice meal for myself a couple of nights a week. There's a feeling of accomplishment there, or whatever, right? And you feel good. You made this thing, and it's fun to learn the recipes, and you find the chopping of vegetables relaxing or whatever, right? Again, your mind wouldn't think, well, how is that going to make a difference in my energy? How is this going to make a difference in getting my stuff? It'll make a big difference because you're feeling better overall. Because here's the thing, when you're feeling better overall, you're in a better frame of mind overall. And when stuff happens that your mind doesn't like, when you're already feeling shitty and stressed and super attached to what you want, and your negative energy is like just overwhelming you, that all gets triggered when that stuff happens. The frame of mind you're in is probably not a great one, and it's going to get even worse. Your mind's going to judge the manifestation, right? You're going to go, oh, am I going to get what I want? This thing happening, right? And you're applying this story to the manifestation. General challenges in life, you're having a hard time at work, you have a big project you're working on that's stressful for you. But again, but in this more general, when you're in a general, your energy is generally better. You're tending to your energy and your stress and your well-being in this more general way, and making these different changes in your life to contribute to this positive energy. Again, it all adds up, and it can make a big difference to how you respond to the unwanted in your life, how you respond to different challenges in your life. Because energetically, that's one of our big problems, right? Our mind, how our mind interprets everything, how our mind responds to everything. When you're feeling better overall, your vibe is a little bit more stable and consistent in that more general way. Just because you feel better overall, you feel happier overall, regardless of whether you have your stuff or not yet. That's a whole different framework, and you respond to these situations in your life very differently. Your vibe doesn't get as affected by these things. You can still maintain that more consistent positive energy, positive outlook, because you're not getting sucked into everything outside of you that happens that your mind is going to tend to label bad or unwanted in some way. You might not like it on the surface, but you don't linger in those feelings as long. You might not even react that way at all initially, because you're feeling better and you have a much different perspective on everything. So yeah, little changes can go a long way. And another thing with all these little changes, again, your vibe gets some juice going in a positive direction. And times when you do have to dive into ickier parts of your energy, you're thinking about something you don't have right now, and you're realizing I have a lot of shit there around relationships, or my weight, or my body, or money, or this thing or that thing. I know I have to deal with this stuff if I really want to see these changes in my life, because right now this is the energy that's dominating in this aspect of my life. And I know there's no way I can really get what I want if this is how I keep feeling, if this is the energy from which I'm trying to manifest these new things. I'm in totally resistance mode, pain minimization mode, trying to make the icky feelings go away mode. Knowing what I know about energy, I know that's really not going to work for me. So I kind of have to do something about this. And when you're in that more general, higher vibe in general, just feeling better overall, you're dealing with your stress, you're dealing with your negative, right? All this stuff, right? You feel better. Your general vibe is kind of right, more consistent and stable. It's easier to go into those messier parts of your energy where stuff might get kicked up that you're going to have to feel that might not feel so great. When you have to go to those places that don't feel so fun to go inside. Memories that you don't really want to think about, all this stuff, right? So one of the ways that we start creating that more general, consistent vibe is these little changes that, again, to our mind don't seem significant. They seem completely unrelated to getting our stuff, but it's all very related. It's all very linked. It's all very interconnected, because all of those things help create a more general base energy. If you want to think about some foundational energy that's going to be full of all sorts of great stuff. And that energy, as it builds momentum, you're going to manifest more stuff that feels like that energy to you. Probably the specific things you want now, probably in a much better version that your mind is probably willing to settle for right now. stuff that you didn't even know you wanted, but it's like, oh, that's awesome. I love this. I didn't even think about I would want something like this. I never thought about this before, but this is great. You know what I'm saying? In that energy, that's when the inspired actions come, the clarity, the insights, the opportunities, the encounters. And it all starts with making these energetic changes on a more general level. Again, it doesn't mean that you won't try to activate positive energy around money or a weight loss or getting a boyfriend or whatever. Yeah, you'll probably do that. But I'll tell you something, when your energy is more stable in that more general way, and you're feeling better in that more general way, and everything in your life is not about just trying to get the stuff you don't have, all of that work you might do to activate energy in specific areas, when you set all these intentions for these specific areas of your life, the energy activated from that can be very powerful and it's helpful. But the space most of us are doing that work from, that energy, whatever is getting activated, it's sorry, I got a little notice there distracting me. Whatever gets activated, it gets drowned out very, very quickly by all the other energy that's probably dominating right now. So when you're feeling better generally and you're kind of happier now, regardless of what's happening, even if you don't have your stuff yet, it's like primer on a wall. There's like a smoother foundation there for that energy to kind of take root. And when you're activating this positive energy in these specific ways by affirming or journaling or whatever it is you like to do, floats your boat, that energy actually goes, it has somewhere to go. You could actually start cultivating it in a real way because you're already kind of feeling okay. And you're like, yeah, you know what? It feels good to affirm about money. It feels good to visualize. I really like writing these intentions every morning. Again, whatever tool or technique floats your boat. So if you really like doing that stuff, or you think it's important and you think you have to do it, which you kind of don't have to do it, always keep that in mind. It's just a tool or technique. It has no power in and of itself. All of that stuff will work better, if you want to think of it that way, when your energy is already in a better place in that more general way. And again, a lot of that starts with these little changes that can make a big difference. So again, you work from home, you might not want to sit around in your pajamas all day. That could be kind of depressing. You might want to get dressed. If you watch a lot of like trashy television, hey, I like certain weird television shows. I get the guilty pleasure, the unwinding aspect, no problem in and of itself. But pay attention to the type of trashy TV you're watching. Is it really just pure entertainment? Or is there some kind of weird, like, again, with the reality shows, with all these shows about all these, like, I don't know, the Real Housewives and all that stuff. Again, I'm not judging it specifically, but a lot of people, right, they like to watch these things because you love to hate the people watching it, and you feel better about your own life because you see their drama and all the shit going on, and you like to feel good about seeing rich people be fucked up because then that makes you feel better about not having money, right? You see a lot of things. Again, you wouldn't make these connections, but when you start looking more closely at what's happening, you see a lot of things that seem benign or like not a big deal. From an energetic perspective, you're like, interesting, maybe I shouldn't watch these kinds of shows anymore. Or right, so all these different examples, right? Again, just a 20-minute walk after dinner makes you feel good. You get your body moving a little bit, helps get you tired for bed. Anything. Again, these are just a few examples that are coming to my mind, but it's a very personal thing, again, because what makes you feel better might not have much an impact on someone else. A positive change in your life might not really do much for someone else. Again, because the energy, everything, it's so individual, what's happening with our energy, what we need to address, the specific things that will actually address these issues, that's going to be very different for everybody. And again, don't underestimate these small things, because when you make a bunch of small changes, they add up to big differences in your vibration. And again, your mind doesn't understand this. It doesn't see the connections, but again, your mind doesn't understand energy. With the law of attraction in particular, we tend to get very focused on, again, activating positive energy around very specific subjects, just trying to get the stuff we don't have. And we're very externally focused, and we're not actually paying that much attention to our energy when you think about it. And that's the crux of working with that teaching, right? But then again, we get so lost in all the what we don't have, and let me be positive, and let me say my affirmations for money and this and that. And we're totally missing that we're not actually changing our energy very much at all. So again, your mind doesn't understand energy. We get very fixated on just trying to attract the stuff we don't have, which is okay. Again, it's okay. You want it, no reason not to have it. But we can kind of get off the rails quite quickly from the get-go, and we're not really paying attention to what we need to be paying attention to. And then we're sitting there like, oh, where's my stuff? I don't understand. And it's like, well, you can't get your stuff. Your energy is not really any different than it was when you started doing all of this, when you embarked on this whole journey, right? And all you really want at the core is to feel better. That's why you want all the stuff you want. You think it'll make you feel better. That's not true, but it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy these things and get pleasure from them. but that's not actually the reason why you're upset, right? You think it's has something, it's being, stuff that's already there is being triggered by these circumstances where you're lacking this thing or that thing. And again, these little changes, they start changing your energy in significant ways. Even if the changes seem small, they can add up to big differences. You start getting what you want right away, which is to feel better. That's all you want. You can get it right away. Whatever's happening in your life right now, you might not be able to feel full on good and amazing, if your life is crumbling around you or whatever, but you would be amazed at how much better you can start feeling before anything changes. Nothing needs to change first in your reality to at least start feeling a little bit better, to start feeling more hopeful that things can turn around for you. Because your mind keeps waiting for something to happen to give you permission to feel better. You keep just trying to attract the stuff you don't have because that's the only thing you think will make you feel better. It's not a fun journey. That's not a fun place to be. I'm sure if you've been there or you're there now, it's very painful, right? Your mind basically holds your happiness hostage until certain things change. But LOA 101, if your energy is not changing and all you're focused on is what you don't have and all you're doing is fighting against what is now, these changes are impossible, but the mind doesn't understand that. So it convinces you to keep doing things that way, thinking that somehow all your dissatisfaction, your discontent, your bitching and moaning about your life and all this stuff benefits you somehow, and it doesn't, right? I feel like I went off on a bunch of little tangents there, but I guess they're all related in some way. So yeah, little changes in your life can make a big difference. So where in your life right now can you make some tweaks that, again, they might seem small, but might make you feel a little bit better, give you a bit of an energy boost if you need it, or whatever, right? So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day or night. For more content, products, and information about my coaching services, head on over to livelifemadetoorder.com. Bye, everyone.